Well, friends, I'm here with Trevor Johnston, who's the Senior Minister at All Saints Belfast, also connected with Theology Ireland, also connected with the GAFCON movement in Ireland, and all sorts of other ministries. Trevor, it's great to have you here in Sydney.
Great to be here.
With Moore College. Just a few questions. First of all, can you tell us a little bit about the ministries that you're currently doing in Ireland?
Yes, so I'm Rector of All Saints Church in Belfast. I've been connected with Sydney for a long time. I've been here a few times before. We've been connected through MTS and Call Marshall, so I've been involved in the ministry apprenticeship, raising new gospel ministers and training new gospel ministers. Presently, I'm the rector of the church, which is right beside Queen's University in Belfast. So we have an active student ministry and reach into the city of Belfast. We want to train and deploy gospel ministers across the island of Ireland. We have, I suppose, an all-island vision and view for what we want to do.
Yeah, great, excellent. Now, you've had quite a bit of history with Moore College. Can you maybe explain to us the sort of connections you've had? I know you've had some connections with our preliminary theological certificate, and then what GAFCON Ireland is and how that's connected. What sort of connections do we have?
So I suppose our connections with Moore Theological, we've known in Ireland, Anglican evangelicals have known of Moore Theological College and the connections from T.C. Hammond onwards, one of your most distinguished principals. He's an Irishman, an Anglican Irishman. I suppose because of the situation within Ireland, we seek solid, biblical, trustworthy ministry training, and Moore College gives that. It's an Anglican, it's the authority of Scripture is acknowledged, and the study of Scripture is taken very seriously through biblical language, and that's very impressive for us because we know that the Bible has to rule God's church. And because of that distinctive, we are very encouraged and very grateful for Moore College. Our links over the years, my link began initially through the preliminary theological certificate, the extension studies course, where we tried to enable a number of people in Belfast and beyond to do that about 25 years ago or so. And that has just grown, really. In recent years, my relationship with Moore College has been renewed through Mark Thompson visited back in 2017 and gave a lecture in memory of an Irish cleric who himself was quite connected with Sydney through the Jensens. And we were so grateful for Mark Thompson coming back in 2017 giving a lecture on the Reformation. At that time, we thought a bit about how do we train people, how do we deepen them in their knowledge of the Bible, which will lead to greater faithfulness and proclamation of the gospel. And I suppose the idea of Theology Ireland, which is a GAFCON Ireland initiative, grew, and Mark encouraged that initiative. And we've had Peter Orr, one of your New Testament lecturers, in Ireland for 2 blocks back at the start of 2018 and start of 2019, which in the second block with about 200 people through the doors over a course of 3 weeks as Peter explained the Bible, the big story of the Bible through his biblical theology lectures, and then a focus on Matthew's Gospel for those who did it in 2018. It was a great success. So we just want to continue building on that. Those who've been raised and trained a bit by us in Ireland in terms of formal theological education, we're keen to send them here. And we're just delighted that the partnership, I think, is valued. Obviously, it's valued from our side outwards, but we're just thrilled that you guys want to support us and Moore Theological College. It's such an encouragement where we have this solid gospel partnership right across from one hemisphere to the other. So thank you for your interest in us in Ireland and your willingness to support us and to give us so many good things.
Thank you for the partnership that we do have. It is very encouraging to hear about the gospel work that's going on around the world, even in another hemisphere, and the fact that we can be part of that, and praise God for that. Final question, you mentioned the Jensens and you mentioned the raising up of more and more leaders through the MTS program and going in to then do some kind of theological study. So Dave Jensen is a graduate of ours, who's now working with you with your evening congregation. But also we have a couple of students here who have come from Northern Ireland. And we have 1 or 2 that are going to come in the next couple of years, and that's the plan, God willing. I guess question is, it seems like you're willing to support Moore College in terms of a good place to study theology. If that's so, what are the reasons for that? Why would you recommend Moore College as a place to study theology?
Well, I think there are a number of reasons. Obviously, the quality of the teaching, the quality of the academic approach as well. It's high level, and biblical languages, for example, are taken very seriously. It's for the good of the health of the church, the sake of the church. So I think in terms of those who come for full-time study, that is to be encouraged. The emphasis on biblical theology as well as a particular distinctive. I suppose the community aspect and learning and life in community is hugely significant, and really shapes and forms the next generation of those who will serve the gospel and faithfully pastor and teach in churches. Also, what has struck me, having been here, living here for a few days, is to see the connection between the local community, as in the Moore College community, with the churches in Sydney. It's really struck me that the local church is not separate from theological training and the shaping of the next generation of gospel worker. It's very much a partnership. In places, theological training, then of course deployment is taken out of the hands of the local church and is centralised a bit. But that's not the case here. The local church is intimately involved with what you're doing, which you don't exist in ivory tower of academics and academia. And I think that will increase the gospel and increase faithfulness to the gospel. So that's why I'm very excited by Moore College, and just living here and seeing it and feeling it is quite striking. Yeah.
Amazing. Final question, just for people who are watching, to be able to pray for you and pray for the ministry that you're involved in, and pray generally for the gospel in Ireland. One or two things that we can be praying for.
Yeah. Ireland is an island of 6.6 million people, but there are vast swathes of our island where there's no faithful gospel witness at all. And I suppose we have that vision, and we have that. We're passionate about trying to reach the whole island. Recent statistics from Operation World and the Joshua Project have identified the Republic of Ireland as one of the least evangelised places in the Western world, English-speaking Western world, which is a hugely stunning statistic, because if you look at the island, the top right-hand corner is Northern Ireland, and there are a number of faithful churches and strong churches, but here's is an evangelistic and mission need right on our doorstep, and perhaps we are ill-equipped to reach. Perhaps it's slipped from our vision and mind. We've become a bit myopic, and I suppose that's a massive challenge, a massive mission challenge, to reach those who have never heard of the gospel, or if they've heard of the gospel, somehow there's a distortion or confusion around it. And we're massively blessed and richly resourced, I think, in our part of the island in order to reach the rest of the island. And just pray that we will get that, we will see that. Pray for initiatives like GAFCON Ireland, pray for various initiatives like MTS that runs in Ireland, just raising and identifying those who would be suitable for a full-time gospel ministry, who would hear the challenge. I suppose that's a challenge, praying for the hearts of those who are young adults. I'm involved in a church that's close to a university, so we're seeing guys and girls who, they believe the gospel and could share the gospel, have skills. We see that, but we pray that God will increase the workers for the harvest field by turning the hearts of those who would perhaps seek a career in something, but rather, instead of that, see that gospel ministry might be something that they would engage in for the rest of their lives, even to the ends of the earth, and maybe even to the ends of the island of Ireland.
Yeah, praise God. Friends, please be praying for Trevor, be praying for the gospel in Ireland. If you want to know more about what Moore College is doing in terms of theological education and partnerships, please visit more.edu.au/CGM.